Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Woo. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blend and smooth, like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Woo! Living loud, thinking proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back at it. Of course, you're at Sparta HQ Network. I am your host, Ghost of Sparta. You are at Operation Hangout. You want to know about anime, you want to know about cartoons, you want to know about pop culture. Of course, you're at the right place. But I can't do this by myself. We gotta talk about something interesting today, but I gotta bring this guy up because he's gonna cause an earthquake. Some people know him as BMU. Some people know him as CBN. Some people know him as Black Davis. Some people know him as Baby Groot. Over here, we know him as, Little Groot.
Grandpa.
Turn your
Grandpa.
camera on.
Grandpa.
I'm gonna play again. Turn your camera on.
No, I put that logo there so you stop calling me Groot. This don't look like a Groot. This looks like Grandpa.
Look, I'll get Groot. That's me. What's going on, David?
I'm good. What's going on? What's going on? Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's another crazy Saturday. It's what it is. We have I don't know what to call it. It was a nerd argument, a nerd war, or be a nerd beef. Because I don't know why he picked this title. We got me pouring out lit already. We got somebody already shooting out list of name. Or this is what I'm trying to avoid. I had it back in high school. We talking about what would be the best machine, best military. Now we're going to the best, most powerful mecha or mobile suit. I'm like, really? We're going down the rabbit hole too early, too soon already. And I'm a
Well,
nerdy ass dude, and I try not to think about it, but it's kind of complicated because first and foremost, this argument is kind of one sided. And people don't understand this. If you are an anime fan, ladies and gentlemen, and you've been watching anime since the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and on, if you're into mecha or mech or whatever you want to call it, or mobile suit, then you notice something. There's one particular franchise that kind of took over, and I hate to say it, it's totally unfair, and that is Mobile Suit Gundam. They have put out
Not really
so,
unfair. They're just that damn good, bro.
I'm aware of that, but here's the craziness about it. There any other element that puts out much Mobile Suit armor or mech or whatever that can compete with the list of ideas that come out of the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise. There are a few honorary mentions that we can put out there. Hector Floney, that's one. Marcos, aka Robotech, that is two. We got Part Labor, that is three. Not turn no. Thank you. To indicate to my head a while ago, I'll look at another anime, Broken Blade, that's four. Let's see. Let me go to Fetna in the Adware, that's five. aka Robot. Hero Age, that's six. The Majestic Prince, that's seven. Um, Robot Ninja, all classic, that's eight.
Mhm.
Um, Overman King Gardner, that's nine. Captain Earth, 10. Bandred, 11. I can mention so many mech anime, but you combine them all together, no matter what you do, Mobile Suit Gundam will come and poop on them. But like, we got a library to pick and choose to beat your best. Bring it. So if you ask me, unless you are nerdy as as I am and you have watched so many mech anime, it doesn't feel right. It feels kind of jaded, if you ask me. It's like saying how you want to say the NFL dominate the whole football arena. Whatever promotion put out there won't compete with the NFL. That kind of look they have out there. Or you want to say how the WWE is taking over the wrestling industry. So all you more promotions, sooner or later we're gonna acquire you and put you under our umbrella. That kind of thing. That's how it looks like. But when you come to the most powerful mecha, you're referring to the durability, the strength, the functionality, flexibility, extra feature is,
But we also have armors.
but how strong is the armor, or what kind of hijink cheat they put in these armors that made it real bad.
Okay, let's use Iron Man's suit for example. David,
Yeah,
let's use Iron Man's suit for example. That is supposed to be one of the most strongest armors in the MCU, the Marvel Universe. What is your debate behind that then?
Iron Man suit nowhere near these mech suit. I hate to say this, nowhere near because it's shown within the Earth atmosphere, but these mech are going outside the atmosphere.
So you're saying to me now, Iron Man has no chance against any of these.
Let's see. I come across anime where there's mech that utilize the sun power, solar power, whereby they
Mhm.
end up being endless potential, whereby they can use the sun energy to produce this energy whatsoever. There's some mech that use the solar or the lunar power to power their mega laser, which can destroy Connie and destroy a league of battleship. Can Iron Man armor do that? No. There's a mobile suit that goes so fast into the speed of light, like almost like they're fading through object. Can an Iron Man suit do that? No. There are some mobile suits that go beyond light speed, which is unheard of. Iron Man suit can do that. 'Cause the thing about Iron Man suit, their limitation is fixed to a certain degree. Iron Man suit is based on what it can do within the Earth's atmosphere. Anything out of space and beyond, going to planet or different origin, different universe, it's kind of like that's not the thing. That's why I can't even bring anything from the MTU universe to compete with anything from the anime universe. It'd be lopsided. Like, why even bring that argument? It's like saying you're bringing a goldfish into the deep water shark reside, watch and see who will take the initiative to punk this one out, since it's in the wrong territory. That exactly what we talk about mechs that we see that destroy planet, that destroy battleship, that destroy colonies, that have level of devastation unheard of, and then some. Like, come on, that's not even a competing argument to begin with. So it's kind of like, not gonna work. We had Oizada was pointing out different mechs example, and Dito with the heavy hitter, for example. You got take the Unicorn Gundam. There's actually about three or four versions of the Unicorn Gundam,
Okay,
whereby
let me ask
it,
you this question really fast.
go
Do
ahead.
you remember the cartoon or anime? I don't know which one it was. Ultra Force.
I'm kind of almost familiar with that name, but I'm trying to remember what the picture looked like.
Uh, let me
Let
see
me
if I
see.
can bring one over
Let
now.
me see. I can look it up right now. You say Ultra
Hey, I
Force.
got one ready for you, David. Hang on a second. Let me share my screen.
Oh, that was a anime based on another comic book.
Okay, so in the anime, they had I think it was one or two members of the team. All right.
Hmm.
One of them was called. Trying to think of the name. I think it was Prototype. Yeah, Prototype and Rage. They had a mecha uniform suit. So their powers were like off that. But mechas are kind of suits are a little weird now because even people who have powers are using them now. Spider-Man, for example,
Hmm.
the Iron Spider,
Hmm.
and that is a pretty badass character. Let's be honest here. You have Spider-Man 2099. He's technically using a suit too. So there is so many different characters that are using suits now. So what is your argument statement behind that, David?
I mean, I'm listening. But
So
when you
what is your
mention,
go ahead?
here's my thing. When you mention about these superheroes using mech suit or these armor suit, either call it mech suit or armor suit. I call it armor because it's more like you put it on the own human body. It's not like a mech that you actually sit in. Iron Man had one whereby he had his armor suit inside mech, but what didn't even want to sit it? It was like an extra add on. When I look at it, I'm like, you're dealing with a level of vulnerability whereby you need an extra plate of armor or a couple of layers into it, which is fine. A lot of these people armor suit, but I'm gonna be shady about it. The moment they get out of the earth atmosphere whereby there's gravity and the air, they get to a place there's no gravity, no air, they don't fare too well out there, so to speak. Look come up from a person who watch so much mech anime who can say, I watched mech armors in space do things that the so-called MCU or whatever universe you have out here in the comic book arena will not even get close to it.
Okay.
And that's crazy. So when I think about that I'm like, okay. So if you want to talk about body armor, well, that's really the term you're looking for. The MTU body armor, it had a level of limitation that fit within the environment they're in. But by all means and no means, you cannot put them in class comparison in the anime universe whereby they're not bound to a limitation that is bound on them. This is why when me and Y want to talk about we do our show with anime unlock, we gotta do them based on the proper variable. A lot of these armors that we win in comic book, either be DC, Marvel, whatever universe it may be, is based within the Earth atmosphere, the Earth around, whereby you have gravity, you have air, you have other different variables that affecting that. So based on that realm, that is the limitation go based on. Now, if you bring all these mech from the anime realm into this one, that's overkill.
Okay, because I did a quick search right now. In first place, they're saying they're using the new Genesis Evil Angel 1 is their most powerful one. They're saying the second place is Devil Gundam from G Gundam. I'm going
And
to
I see,
disagree with that.
I see many different lists, and their lists is always vary.
Hang on, let me
You
finish. Let me go down
go
the
ahead.
list before you say anything. Let me go down the list, all right? A Gundam from Turning A Gundam
Hmm.
in third place. Third? Wait a minute, skip numbers here on me. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going in a weird order. So A Gundam is in seventh. Turning is in sixth. Fifth place is Gunbuster. I haven't heard of that anime. Um, Mega Z. That is in fourth. Uh, Space Runaway Idea is in third. Uh, Zing Trouble Avengers is in second. Some of these I have not heard, David, to be honest with you. And Super Teen Topic Geno Legend, the Green Legend, is in first. The same. Those are the top seven. But here's a couple things we have to also. Are we talking about a suit that is only a suit that is one piece, or are we talking about a suit that is in five, like Voltron or the Megazord? Can you count that as a mecha?
Um, what is a mecha according to an anime definition? They're
David, you
very
sound too far away, bud.
defined.
David, you sound
Sorry.
far away.
What it? What is something? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Can you hear me? When it
yeah, yeah,
comes to
yeah, yeah.
mecha on an anime, when it comes to mecha to the anime definition, they come from various size and form. There's one you can refer to Voltron, whereby you could be an animal like Zoid. There's Voltron. You have the Zoid franchise that have a lot of mech of in shape of different animal or dinosaur or creature,
Hmm.
so to speak. Then you go to the next level, you go to Mobile Gundam, the humanoids mech, whereby they have multiple function and then some. Some mech are transformable depending on the nature of it. But after you look at the long list of mech anime, the list always forever increasing based on style, functionality, technology, features, both pros and cons behind it, the source of their energy or what is powering it. That's another thing entirely. The speed level, the durability level, the pressure level. There are some mechs that can go to the deep bottomless pit of the ocean and not bend on pressure. Because we heard about how you have to be careful how you before you go into the ocean, the much pressure you feel the water start to press on. You have some mech that can take that pressure. Then you have some mech whereby based on the G force, it can resist the force on that level. So there's a lot of functionality in there. This is why I said comic book mech cannot compete with anime mech.
I'm gonna have a little pushback on this one right now.
You can have a pushback, but you can have a
Wait, wait,
pushback all
wait,
you
wait,
want.
wait. Before you say anything,
Okay.
the Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim where you have these Jaegers, yeah, the Pacific Rim where you had two pilots had to have their brains synchronized at one to actually pilot a gigantic mech. I
Mhm.
get it, but here the downplay on that one. These mechs had vulnerability. Yes, you had to sync your mind with another person's mind to pilot a huge mechadroid. Whereby in anime, if you want to pull out the grand library of mechs, they are mech way bigger than that, more powerful than that, much faster than that, that will do these beasts that these Jaeger are fighting with like it was nothing, but only acquire one pilot. If you get my drift.
Mhm.
Because there's mech that go past the speed of light.
And that I'm not gonna talk about something I don't know.
And that I know these things, but that's what I'm saying. As a heavy anime junkie who watch all type of anime, Jaeger from the Pacific Rim, it was cool, it was interesting. They're introducing the stage one of technology. Or what could be actually happen in case that scenario ever happened to be. But on the flip side, on the anime side, they got mechs that even the same side or bigger or more powerful that go to almost Mach 7.
Which one is that?
When I'm referring to Mach 7, you know you're breaking the sound barrier, right?
Duh.
But here the messed up part about it.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
You did it to
Wait,
yourself, David.
I know the reason I put Mach 7 because that's within the Earth realm atmosphere. But you take that speed and multiply it by 10, you are outside in space. You got mechs that chasing planetary spaceship,
Mhm.
warp into different, I'm talking about light year speed. Remember I was trying to mention earlier there were four different versions of the Unicorn Gundam. And three of them utilize the solar energy of the sun, meaning it never runs out. And they had spaceship chasing these things to the point whereby they were going circle around them. That type of speed is ridiculous. Talk about in space. And space is a huge, huge arena compared with the space within the Earth. You're going from one galaxy to another galaxy, one universe to another universe, or one space colony to another space colony, depending on how many light years away. Keyword light years away. We're not talking about breaking the sound, but we're talking about breaking the the light speed. Light speed surpass sound barrier speed on a scientific term. So imagine that type of thing going on.
You know one thing I want to pick your brain on. Maybe you can explain this a bit better.
Go
It
ahead.
seems like animes and Japanese people are beyond craze with mechas.
You think?
Don't be a smartass. So yeah, that's usually my job. All right. So explain to me why you think they're so obsessed with mechas. Like for example, Ultraman. Do you consider that mecha or a suit? Let's start
Hmm.
with that question, and then I want you to follow up. Why do you think they're obsessed?
Ultraman, Ultraman, Ultraman. One of the oldest classic anime slash live action show that the Japanese have been pushing out for the longest. Now,
Really, I
Ultraman,
couldn't tell.
let me put it like this. If you want to go to the history of Ultraman, Ultraman did it way back a long. You know what? Hold on, give me a second. Now that you ask now, I know how to go into this thing. History of Ultraman. So this where I'll get the actual date when it
So
first
they,
started.
Eric is saying to you right now, is a suit.
It's a suit. No, it's a suit, yes, but also a suit based on alien technology. Guess what year the series Ultraman first started? Nine
1930s.
no 1966.
I know it's old. I didn't know it was that old.
And you know how many franchise that came out of Ultraman? A lot. It was more like a live action. Someone pretend to be a alien in a suit or human into an alien made suit that make you go gigantic size. Imagine a suit that you put on make you grow to a giant size, or what they call kaiju size. That's the term.
Hmm.
And you fight against beasts or alien like beasts from another planet or so. So it was a series based on a comic to a live action version, from live action to comic, then comic into anime, then back to
I
live.
thought the live action ones didn't do that well.
It becomes based on the time they did it, from 1960 to 1967, from 1970 to 1980, the 1990 version, the 2000 version, 2010 version, and only have today. So the earlier version was more live action. They did have a studio whereby it looked like, just like you're dealing with Godzilla. You know how you had the Godzilla movies? The same fundamental they do with Godzilla, they do with the Ultraman. But at the present time, they went more in between with anime and computer CGI. They believe they could get a better production than doing the live action. Live action,
I know
it
that Godzilla in was it early 2000s. That was actually a really good fucking movie. I thought back then.
you took your older old school Godzilla back then when you had back in the '80s, during the time when Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. on Fox TV, you had to go in either you watch the Kung Fu or you watch the Kaiju, Godzilla versus this, Godzilla versus that kind of thing going on. So when you put Ultraman, Ultraman is a suit. It's almost switching to a mecha because there's some variation of Ultraman that went into a thing whereby Ultraman had some armor that he put on,
Mhm.
allowed to have extra features.
There were some suit on armors that were actually really cool.
Hmm.
Forget practicability for a minute. One of my favorite series, Techno Man. I think the suit is fucking awesome. And like whatever you want to call it, suit, Alienware, whatever you want to call it. Then you have Guyver, another good one there.
Guyver was different. Guyver with a bio armor.
But it was
But
still
by
armor.
keyword, it's bio armor, meaning it's an armor, but the organism that is playing a part whereby this thing take over based on the history of guy with a bio armor suit they have set up. The suit take over the host, whereby the armor take over your, not really take over, it encompasses your whole entire body, but it's embedded to your DNA, whereby you can turn it off and turn it on if you understand the feature behind it. So in other words, the armor stay within your body or another dimension. When you in a level of threat whatsoever, it comes out, but those to increase your strength and your agility.
Okay, let me ask you this question really fast. S. Cry Ed. Um, that is
Whew.
how would you where would you rate that one?
Ooh, that is a unique thing because I remember watching the anime. This has something to do with the abnormality of a human, I don't know, the human genetic. Like certain people. Let me hold on. Let me get the right
Take a
thing.
deep breath, David. You're not on trial here, buddy.
And I
It's supposed to be
no.
fun.
Okay,
I'm
here's the
picking
thing.
your brain because you know more about this anime stuff than I do, and I like to have a conversation with you tonight, bud.
Because the thing the way they let me out without what I found on AI. They say the story take place in the timeline in Japan, Kanagawa perfect was several years of cattle comet geological event known as the Great Uprising. I mean, there's something that happened in that particular land that's affecting people genetic. And they say in the long run, it's more potential of people develop a supernatural power called alter ability. Remember I said genetic
Mhm.
alter. That means whatever that happened in that environment, it alter your DNA that either give you superpower, whereby it is psychic, or it allow you to build some kind of armor-like feature from another third, fourth world dimension. I watched anime more than several times, and all that can come to my mind was just that some of the people who get these special ability, they're not only their genetic being altered, but their lifespan also being altered as well. Meaning, more people who have these such power don't live long; they live shorter. They die out. But the time they die out, it depends on how often they use their power or how much they elevate the level of their power. Which is during the storyline, there's some people get to a certain level their body can take it, and they whittle away at a young age. While some learn how to manage not over push it and able to live a little longer than most. And their those you can tell, you can see the breakdown on their body is showing that they progress their power too much to a level whereby it's just a matter of time they don't look nor feel human no more. So at Quiet, it was something about people who got affected by these certain things, they get it stigmatized. Just like that, it's almost like taking a story from the X-Men. You have advanced human who has supernatural power, but instead of calling them regular human, you call them mutants. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost taking that same logic, but this happened in a smaller regional world like Japan. You know, Japan is like an island. It's not like a huge country, but a small section of it is affected by something that happened from outside the realm of their living. What I hit their environment, let's say a nuclear bomb, and maybe not nuclear bomb, something from outer space, hit their area of the sword and affect the area. And certain people have certain ability based on the effect of it, either radioactive or something beyond that. But the thing about a lot of these anime, there's always a science or explanation why they say certain things happen to certain people or certain genes that trigger by that. That's why I tell people from our first episode that when you come to anime, you get to pay attention to the science of things. A lot of people don't pay attention to the science; they just like the fireworks and the
Okay,
show.
let's use another trump card really fast. Fallout.
Fallout. Hmm. This is based on a game. That correct?
Mm-hmm. Doomsday Day.
Yeah, there's a Doomsday. I barely even played the main game. I had to play the spin-off game they had whereby you control a bunker and you not only live out the rest of your life, but you build like some kind of like a base of a thing to prevent yourself from being attacked or whatever that's out there, like zombie, mutated people coming to break into your location, whereby you have guns, you have armor, people protect your place. You have a a base that go deep underground where you can grow your own food, grow your own
Okay, the
crops,
point, David.
whatsoever. I
What do
know
you
you get the
think
point.
about the suit?
The suit, like, it's more like Doomsday like built, but it don't have it's set to a limitation of how far it can go. Remember what I said that is within the Earth realm. So those suits is only built based on the environment that it was placed in. It's not
Hmm.
no super mecha suit that to make you fly. There's a limitation. You can't go too far from your base because it's just like let me apply Neo Genesis kind of way. Fundamental. Those suits are pretty good as long as you give it to repower them, bring it back to base, or do whatever maintenance you do. We can only go so far with it. But like I said, you can't compare those two for stuff like people doing intergalactic, interplanetary travel. They're doing all type of craziness. Because think about it, when it comes to Japanese animation, they don't limit their imagination on how far they can go with it. You're coming from dealing within the planet to dealing outside the planet. You're traveling to the moon to the point you go travel to another galaxy or another universe. Or you're going to dimensions. So when you give me that huge playing ground, you're designing ideas of mech where it can function in any type of environment whatsoever and then some and beyond. You're adding level of ability that's almost beyond supernatural, so to speak. Think about that.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. This like one of those type of argument. It's totally unfair because I'm looking at my Eric. He
I
says
don't think
that
it's going to be fair no matter how you put it because it depends on the situation they're in.
I know because Eric says state that empower and I was like, dude, if you were to do a huge documentary of all the mech that we know in anime and do the stack and the power,
Bioshock is another one.
huh?
Bioshock.
That could be debatable. But like I said, so many things you're mentioning. Remember what realm did it fall into within the planetary that Earth? So
Okay, I
that
think we should eliminate suits in this conversation. What do you think? Not mobile suits. I'm talking about like armored suits.
Armor suit, you can eliminate from the concept because, like I said, they're set to a limitation. These are suits that you use when you're on Earth or you on an area that's similar to Earth,
See,
where there's
David.
air and gravity.
See,
You
David.
act, you ask me, and I
Hang on.
okay,
Before I push the button, I
good.
knew you're gonna say that to me today. You know why I know that? Because I know you pretty well. So that's why I scheduled another show in a couple weeks, saying which is the most powerful suit or armor.
And that will be fine. You can have that argument because remember, there's anime that like Gaiva, one of them. There's other anime beside Gaiva that have suit and armor that is still ridiculous. Some whereby it's based on the type of metal you are using. It is super lightweight and heavy durable. That's the thing. Some of these armor, it apply you in certain special gem or certain artifact that give it actual ability, so to speak. Remember, Japanese like to explore the deep unknown or what you can do with a suit or an
Okay,
armor, and
so explain to me then, like I asked you earlier, why the Japanese is so fascinated with this.
it's based on their imagination and expansion of how far they can achieve. Because when you're dealing with science and robotics, you're not stuck with a limitation when you come to the Japanese mindset. They broaden the horizon to the point whereby, what if we have different elements that you come across, different metal that you come across, different technology you come across? What if you take science and you merge it with magic, which is in most cases, a no-no and based on history book that's almost impossible because they're two different universes.
Hmm.
What do you do with science and you do with alchemies? Alchemy is almost a in between science and magic. So they're taking different study, different discipline, different philosophy, and they either mixing or merging. This is why Japanese are able to go so far and beyond. Think of different ideas that may or may not work. And or what if the point what are the formula? You even have anime put in formula that some people have been literally trying to figure out if it's actually gonna work. And you're right, robots are fun. There's so much unlimited potential you can do with a robot. Either stick with plain science and see how far you go with science, or you mix science with quantum physics, or you have science with dealing with alchemy, or you have science dealing with magic, or you have science doing something with a fourth next or a fourth war. Meaning something beyond magic, beyond quantum physics, beyond alchemy. That's something that's been haven't been touched yet. So this is why when it comes to Japanese, the level of imagination to perceive that what we know here, where there's so much of a limitation because we don't want to expand on the scientific turf of them because I don't want to be shady, but I might have to be shady for today's show. American limitation is based on the ideology, the, the level of ignorance they have. Let's put it like that. We play with ignorance so much in this country is so contagious and toxic. So we don't want to see beyond that. Oh, it's not possible. Remember, for example, oh, it's not possible to run a car on water, but we wouldn't do that already. Oh, it's not possible to run cars on gasoline, but now we're doing it. Now we have electrical cars now. What next? Oh, it's not possible to do. Like, come on. We have too many naysayers who have an issue with science, but don't want to admit they're dumb as fuck.
I also think David is not only on the suit; it's also the pilot.
Now you talk about pilot, there are different level to pilot. We have regular pilot. We got pilot that next level intellectual, or we'll call it a new type. We got pilot that operate in the realm of the psychic power, whereby they can
Now,
use
now
the
you took the words out of my mouth because you have like Armor Ray, who has the psycho frame, and he's a new type who's able
oh.
to go above and beyond.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I was open up a bunch of different lists, and it's funny. Every place I go to, there's always a different list based what's the best armor, what's not the best armor. I find that weird. Why people think that way. The suit that you're referring to, there are a few like that. They call it Unicorn Gundam. The real name is Mobile Suit Unicorn Gundam RX-0. That had a psycho that allowed you to control other psycho beyond its range. There's another
Hmm.
one called let me see, GTN .000 space 00 quant T. That's the one we call the quantum physics that have that cycle frame brainwave, but it go to the next level to quantum brainwave. Let me see. Turn X Gundam and Turn A Gundam have a level of psycho influence as well. That's the thing. If I go to every other place, it's the same thing. There was an anime whereby three generations of pilots were competing. It was in Mobile Suit Gundam. The first one had psycho ability. The second one did. The third one don't. But was an excellent pilot. It wasn't like his father or his grandfather who used psychic ability because they're like new type pilot. The third one had to be a new type. He had that level of foresight. He can predict your movement. So he was the anti-new type pilot, which a lot of new type had a problem with. So there's a level of different level for different pilots. So on one list, I had that they turn A is the most geological, the most technological advanced Gundam in history. I beg to differ because there's other Gundam that can beat that. He had a Neo Zong, which was a giant, it's a weapon of a war and in proportion, meaning a suit so huge so mass it destroyed planet.
Like which one?
They called it the Neo Zong. It's a massive. I'm talking about massive. Uh, the Empire State Building don't meet up to that level. Like you having 10 Empire State Building size.
God damn.
Bingo. Then New Gundam and New Gundam. That one was the first of a kind that had a cyclone frame built in, but it was built in differently. You control a bit that could go to different levels. Then I hate to say this, the most dangerous one was considered the Mighty Strike Freedom Gundam because of the character who powered that Gundam, Kiyo Yamato. He's a new type pilot, but the thing about him, his ability allowed to push the over to so much to the point that people think that thing was a ghost. Then there's another one, the Gundam Ariel. There's a Gundam from the thing called Mobutu Gundam, the Witch from Mercury.
Oh yeah, I watched. I wasn't a big fan of that one.
I was okay with it, but I see the other side what they're doing. What were they were going too far to the point that something they take down was affecting new type pilot,
Hmm.
the level of radiation. That's why I'm saying you're dealing with science. You know, when you go too far to a level of science, you don't know there's a danger behind it. Just like alchemists, there's a give and take to what you do. The
The
level,
only one I think it might had a good competition against any Gundam. Do you remember the Zone of Enders, the game?
that's an old classic game on PlayStation. I remember.
Correct. That mecha was pretty powerful, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Their arsenal was so beyond anything, and they made an anime out of it actually too.
They made an anime, but remember
Two
that
animes. Actually. It was a movie and a series. The series was horrible. The movie's actually really fucking good. Go ahead, David.
but here's the thing about that game. That game it had its limitation and yet the two were powerful. But when I watched so many other anime and played so many anime games that they were met, I start to realize, I tell you know what, it's hard to put a cap to the level of how far you can put the strength of a mech when there's so many fundamental philosophy added to these things, whereby it just doesn't add up. The one I mentioned to you
Mm-hmm.
from the movie called Mobutu Gundam 00, that it considered to be, I call it a broken. When I'm saying broken, here's the thing, it called GNT 000-00 Quantity. They were the Gundam that utilize a unique twin drive system, which is based on the solar fundamental, whereby it never runs out of power. It uses what they call a solar furnace that puts you to the next fourth wall where you deal with quantum physics. Meaning, I can move from here and fade myself from New York City to Japan in less than 3 seconds.
Okay.
That type of speed. That type of speed is called the speed of light, right? But you're they're going to the fourth realm. You deal with quantum physics. That's next level science. So imagine a Gundam that could use that type of fundamental.
Let me ask this
It
question
can
really fast before we went too far.
okay.
Transformers. Do you consider a suit, a mecha? What do you consider that? What needs
Transformer
you?
or transformer
Go ahead.
based on the different sentient beings in robot bodies.
Okay.
I grew up in Transformer and I always never left that definitely left on my sentient being. They are life forms that live in a thing called a spark. And they live a robotic body they're able to utilize as if it's like their own personal body.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time in the Generation 1 Transformer franchise whereby they did some kind of experiment and draw out that sentient spirit out of them and put it in a human body. But they were kind of confused because they were not used to that. You get what I'm saying? They came from a planet whereby their creator is actually a robot of a massive scale. Primus. And Primus was the source of life for both Autobot and Decepticon. Right? All for
Mm-hmm.
one spark. Keyword spark. What you can see is like a huge glow of electrical ion mixed around itself. So when you are a sentient being, the term sentient being refers to a next level whereby it's not dealing with the biological what we have, where you have flesh of bone. It deal with a sign whereby and plus they can repair themselves, mind you. When they broke the arm, they go into repair. They get another arm put back on. Can we put another arm back on here? Like you have that technology that can create flesh out of the third realm or third or fourth realm. And I say sentient being. This is why when they use certain terminology, there's a science behind it. That's why I say when it comes to mech and anime suit, we have limitations here based on our own level of understanding. But when you leave our own level of understanding and adapt to another level that add more level of science, they got to see the potential how far you can go. That's why I say when you have this argument about the best mech and best armor mech suit, the question is how far is your imagination? How far can you reach? How
It's
far
not
can you
that
push?
is. It's how far can you push this argument? Because at this point, I don't think it's an argument who's one's the best. Is it goes on to a couple fundamentals and situations. A is the scenario. What kind of battle you're in? Number one. Number two, what kind of pilot you are? Are you an ace pilot, a new time pilot, a jerk off pilot, or a fucking rookie? All right. Once those are two broken down, then you have to figure out, okay, who has an upper hand? Let's say the pilots, let's say it or suits are equal. All right. And a pilot equals. How do you win that?
Multiple variables that doesn't make no sense. I'm telling you right now. I'll give you a perfect example. The best mecha classic of all time, Marcos Frontier, whereby
Which one
these
is it?
mech Marcos Frontier.
That's a
They,
Robotech series, right?
you could call it Robot after the Marcos Front series. But Marcos original name before you have Robotech. Robotech was the American name.
No, I know,
And
I know, I know, I know. We talked about this before.
so yeah, so Marcos Frontier will talk about a different type of mech that utilize certain fundamentals that is beyond their understanding. Like the your emotion can amplify the power of your mech. Let that sink in. Your
Okay.
emotion can give different level of power to your mech. Now, you asked me that question, and I shitty as my mind can get. Imagine you put a 3 or 4 in that mech pilot. In that mech, what do you think gonna happen? If she's too emotional and she's too agitated, what kind of emotion, what kind of manifestation of her emotion will come out of that mech?
You're asking a lot now, David.
You see what I'm going with it, right? But the
Yeah.
Japanese never think of that way of putting that type of level of emotion. These emotion in the manga is based on love, hate, and fear, right?
Hmm.
And based on how far you can push it, It gave it a new level of power by A to go faster, go stronger, it's invulnerable, it can fade through anything. It had different variables that can apply to that. That one from that particular anime. That's crazy, right? But
Hmm.
you never believe that. Then another one where it based on Mobutu Gun, the original, based on Char. He's the first of his kind of being a new type, whereby not only he pushes his body, he can see things from planning away that's going to happen before it happens. Or he can project, oh, we're not going to take this route, we're going to take this route, this is going to happen. What do you mean? Okay. A few months later, it actually happened. How did he see that? What is he tapping into? That could either be quantum physics, right? Neo Genesis, well, I don't like touching that anime because that's just like messed up in the head. But you see how those suit operate. They're angel form into
Okay,
mech
I'll put it this way. Let me use another one example. I'm gonna butcher the name. This is Alpha Police series. Palopro,
part labor.
some shit like that.
Uh, Patlabor, right?
Yes,
Yeah. That was giving number three on the list that I have. Mobile police part labor. It was a unique setup, but I never got a chance to watch it. But I read about it whereby
I
this
watched
was
it when I was very young. I've been trying to find it recently to rewatch it.
this was very unique in its way, but but at the same time very detailish based on the science, based on the engineering of it,
Hmm.
and based on what kind of material they're using. I would like to speak on part labor, but I need to watch it first. I don't want to do it any justice to it
No, no,
because
from the little bit you remember, what do you think?
it's almost in the realm similar to that of Gundam, but at the same time, it's not. But it's based on what's going on the. You don't have like you know how you have police over, you have cars and everything. They are using their part labor more like a mech, more like a tank to them. That what was
Hmm.
using. That's how the thing was coming about. And a very interesting storyline, but I had to watch it. 'Cause I don't want to say too much on it, which I'm not too familiar with. I want to say it's. I was told it's almost similar to Gundam, but it's not.
It looks very similar.
It looked like I said, it looked very thin, but yeah, I understand the storyline of it.
I would say it's between Gundam and Robotech.
Mm. It's more so a Gundam versus Marco than Gundam versus Robotech. Robotech limitation was based on the mech that transferred to a fighter like plane mode, which is understandable. But remember, I said the list of mech I have out there. Thank you. Partly was more to like Appleseed. That was looking like Appleseed. Remember what the Appleseed anime? It's almost like armor suit going to a mech mode.
I don't remember Appleseed.
Oh, thank you. Why I got Eric. Eric is my backdoor guy. He let people know what to do with this. He going me out like, no, sir. Fact check. This is what it is. He's my fact checker right now for these anime conversations.
I put him on. When I put him on we owe you when we make it big.
But that's the thing about it. Cold Geese, another anime. They have a very unique mech, which is very ridiculous.
Which one is it?
Cold Geese. That is CODE space
I never heard of that one.
GEASS. Oh, you should have been on talking. Shut that. That for you right now. You need to watch that anime. That's another franchise that they were mechs, but their mech had not too much a limitation, but it have a level of growth going to it.
Hmm.
Whereby these are psycho mech, whereby the level of speed is ridiculous. The way they're fighting is hyper. I'm talking about it is fast paced. Ain't no Jaeger like movement. Oh, you have this thing running faster than normal things, moving faster than normal things. The battle is no joke.
Okay.
So
It was
believe me,
one. I can't remember which one was the name of called. The mobile suits had like surfboards that fly in the air.
Eureka 7.
Thank you.
That's another one about that's alien technology that came from another planet. And the Earth people took what they learned from that particular mech and trying to implement it, but they're not close to the exact technology, but they got close to it. There's
Hmm.
another anime called Braven. Weird. A mech suit. Yeah, you get it on an armor suit that going into a mech suit that I don't know. It was like, yo, you confused me. Are you doing the armor you put on and you jump into the mech? And I'm like, oh,
Let me ask you a
dude.
question. What do you feel about Escafone?
That's funny, the classic anime with mostly
Oh,
mech, but
absolutely. I'm not denying that, but as a suit, I guess, because that was actually a living being in a way.
it's 11 being mecha suit kind of thing, but different. I remember that realm, it dealing with magic, you're dealing with science, you're dealing
Hmm.
with alchemies. Remember that thing about different philosophy?
Hmm.
It was mixing science with alchemists and magic.
Everything we're not supposed to be talking about as Christians.
Bingo. But what they were doing with that, they were getting things that you never thought it would be possible. Plus the timeline and the mindset, like you're coming from the past, from the future, going into the past, seeing something from a different alternate universe that is almost non-existent. So believe me, it's like that anime is a mixture of Roman, Isekai, and mech. So it's a very unique blend. Trust me, I know. Now, phew,
I think Transformer mechs are, to me, in my opinion, the coolest.
it's a cooler because based on how it was being presented back in the 80s. But now in the realm we are in, there's a lot of mech that surpass Transformers. It makes some point be like the OG grandpa, like yo, you just chill out now. Big O will be a rival to Pacific Rim. They're on the same level of speed and movement, pretty much. If you see Big O,
I was never a fan of Big O, to be honest with you.
I knew he was a fan, but it took one pilot to pilot Big O. There's some mech that had two pilots. I get it, but it's
Mhm.
for within the same category of Pacific Rim.
What about the Megazords?
Megazoid, well, you're dealing with magic,
No, not
science.
always, not all of them.
No,
So
here, the Megazoid in the Power Ranger is Megazoid under the frame of Zoid, but there's a mixture of magic, science, and alchemy in the play of these things, and quantum. So, depending on what type of Megazoid you're using, it is a straight science and magic, or straight science or alchemy, or straight science plus magic and alchemy, or straight science plus alchemy, science, and quantum. It's like you have to look at what philosophy is utilizing. That's what it is. There's an anime that also show you the flexibility and the limitation called Gundam Build Fighter or Gundam Build Diver, also under
mhm.
the virtual Gundam, whereby you can make match, you can build, you can customize your mech to get a level of performance or ability.
Wait, David, I don't want to move on. Hang on. I want to go back to the Power Ranger thing. I don't think it's magic as much.
Really,
Where,
you want to
where
go?
would you put magic?
You really want to go there?
But because they use the morphers, because the morphers are technically a technology thing.
Morphin or science, I get that part. Now you want to give me okay. Let's Power Rangers series, and I'll
Okay,
go out
if
a
you're talking
list.
about Mr. Force,
Magic.
that was the horrible series, and that one I'll give you credit. But let's say with the original OG, let's go with Mighty Morphin. Magic,
That
you
was
think?
science. That was science and quantum physics.
Thank you. That's where I was going to. Okay, Zeo.
Zeo.
Hmm.
Which one was that one?
That was the
Zeo.
second one.
That's Zeo. That was magic and quantum physics with a slight touch of magic on it. Slight touch.
I don't think there were. I won't say magic. I'm going to go back to that
No.
one.
If you're fundamental when it comes to this, if you're a science buff, and you pay attention to key things that stick out in Power Rangers, you can almost tell if they're applying science, if they're applying quantum physics, or there's a slight touch of magic into play of things. Because even Voltron, they admitted a lot of these Power Rangers were based on Voltron fundamental, but Voltron fundamental was a combination of science, magic, and alchemy applied all in one. This is why, dude, I'm that dude. If you watch Voltron from the very beginning, the original one, and listen to the detail how they built their Zoid whatsoever, the person will tell who understand the creator of the Voltron, no Voltron line Zoid. He did mention there was science added with the use of science, magic, and alchemists. They're dealing with three fundamental philosophy to build their Zoid.
Hmm.
Power Ranger is a byproduct of that. So that's why I said what I said. You gotta be able to differentiate which is being used in science, which one is used in alchemy, which one is using magic. And the fourth one is quantum. No, quantum, a new level of knowledge that do things that apply to the scientific realm of things.
I still don't feel Zero has magic in it, dude. I think it's more technology.
No, Power Ranger is hardcore copying of Voltron on multiple levels.
Mm,
Hardcore.
I'm gonna respectfully push
No,
back on that.
you can respectfully push back, but the fact will come out and say, fact checked. It is what it is.
Now
Because
you're gonna say to me, Power Rangers, Turbo and Space had magic too.
mostly physics, alchemists, and quantum. They wasn't touching magic so much. If it was, it would be either subtle, you could better pay attention to that. Some other Power Ranger franchise were using more on a magic side of things, but it's kind of obvious. Remember that I told you, Voltron was no different. Voltron, even the person who understand the engine, even though the one that had more recent one, they did mention there is a combination in the design of things. The thing is, how far, what would the ratio you're using? I know Eric don't want me to go down. I tell you, please don't go down the fundamental rabbit hole, Peter. We're not gonna. He understand that because it was enjoyable. But if you were a diehard fan of these anime series and you pay attention to the storyline, they mention these things. So it kind of like
Dude, I
try.
was a very hardcore fan of Power Rangers for years.
So was
Except
I,
when
but I was very geeky about it to the extreme level because when I see Power Rangers, I see Voltron in live action.
and there were
That's
a couple. Now I think back, there were a couple. I would say they had some magic in it. Mr. Force, Wild,
anything had to do with dinosaurs or wildfire or animal, there's a level of magic in play in that. There was a level of magic in play. You cannot deny it. This is what I'm saying. Different fundamental. You cannot argue it. Thank you, Snuggle. They use a special chrysalis. Now, what would be the fundamental with that thing come along with? Like, come on. Really?
you gotta get the power somewhere. That's not magic, dude. It's like getting a fucking battery in your car, dum dum.
Okay, it's no different than say you get don't use magic. So you gotta go down to you get don't use magic.
I'm just saying. I don't think. I think at 85% of saves is not magic. I think it's more science and special qualms, like you said.
Okay. Me ask my fellow assistants.
David, you can't afford a system.
When it comes to Power Rangers Zoids, what fundamental
Broken blade.
is being? Oh, that's another one. Is science and alchemist.
There are a bunch of acronyms. I'm not denying that one bit. Now, let me ask you another question as you're looking that up. Metal Gear.
Great science.
No, I'm not. No. What would you put the level of that one?
Metagate is a mixture of both mech, armor, and droid.
You not answer my question. Where would you put the level of like strongest to weakest?
I can't. Here, what I would say, me that play Metal Gear. I played the game. I've seen the fundamental and the science behind it. It's almost like they are venturing to the forbidden or a realm whereby it doesn't doesn't add up. For example, Solid Snake, right? You're a human sized guy. You're doing a mech that's big enough to squash you, but somehow you're able to fight against that. Means you're dealing with a super soldier serum. You're doing a different level of science. But that thing was moving in a way where didn't add up.
Solid driver. What do you have to say about that?
Science and quantum physics. So I was looking at fundamental, let's say fundamental power source. Let's say organoid system, joy core. The joy core is a biomechanical organ that acts like a heart of a joy. Biomechanical. What we're working with science,
Exophona, it was technically biomechanical, right?
pretty much. Another one called fossil-based biomechanical design. Another one called external power source. Hmm. You got the morphing grid energy, solar and keyword cosmic energy. Cosmic energy.
And
What is
that I'll give you, dude. It's comic energy. I'm not denying that part one bit. What
oh
I am
what but
arguing
what
is
the but
magic.
what I know what the cosmic energy consists of. It's not always science when it comes to cosmic energy.
Hmm.
There's a little sprinkle of alchemy and magic in play, whereby it's not so obvious, but if you're not paying attention to it, then mystical or ancient tech. Ancient tech dip and dab with alchemy and magic as well.
Nice. You got another one here. There you go.
Aquarium? Oh, that you know all three.
They're testing you tonight, bud.
Aquarium, you know all three. Even though Snuggle misspelled it, I know what you were trying to say. I appreciate that. You know all three. I'm sorry. You talking to this anime junkie? We could go head to head with him. From the medical universe, Quiet is my favorite character. You know, he's a scary person. No offense. They have a name called Quiet. Suspect.
I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in this conversation right now.
You throw the monkey out, you to tighten the boat.
Oh yeah. Armor core.
Ooh, that's a straight mech. I'm gonna call it a big
Oh, I'm not
chunky
gonna
mech.
deny straight meg, and it's definitely straight science. We both agree on
It's
that.
I'm gonna call it straight sign. There's no give and dab or anything that will
Yeah,
impure this the sense of science. That's what it is. And I get it.
I'm not arguing that, but what would you put them? Because it's
Mech.
hard because they were customized. You can change parts, and everything.
It's
You
a
can
mech.
modify it for per mission.
It's a mech. It was no different from Mobile Gundam, which is also a mech. You even realize Mobile Gundam going through heavy customization left and right.
But you can customize the armor core right before your mission. Versus Gundam, you cannot like. Okay, let's remove the
Mm,
arms. Let's get a new chip in here, a new reactor.
mm, you, it's the same fundamental with
I'm not
Mobile Gundam.
denying that. I think you can get more. Not gonna say more. Trying to how I'm gonna put this. I think the upper hand Gundam versus Armor Core would be Armor Core on a heartbeat.
It wouldn't.
Hmm?
It would never be. Sorry.
Why I say that?
Armor Core, yeah, there's a level of customization available. Mobile Gundam, there's a library. The original Gundam was based on the original Gundam that came out in the late 70s. And they built upon that and advanced it over a long period of time. Whereby if you're doing like a family tree of
Hmm.
design and look and how it got improved or upgraded to, the family tree on Mobile Gundam make the bloodline look like a baby. So, and you want to talk about customization, that is hand down a landslide. Remember I mentioned the anime called Bill Gundam Diver?
Hmm.
That was an anime based on people customizing their Gundam with
Yeah, I
different
know that. Okay,
variations.
let me throw another monkey wrench from in here.
Hey, you throw another one, I'll keep tightening the boat.
Okay,
I'll become a mechanic then.
You might be stuck under the car for a while.
Try
We
because
have Robotech. Wait, before you. FDS1.
Robotech FDS1. Hmm.
I think I got him finally. All right, guys, let's get this
No,
guy in here because
I
he needs to
don't. I
break our
don't.
fight up. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our president. Mr. President, how are you doing tonight?
Working as always. What's going on?
Do you ever get a weekend off?
Not just to chill. No, if I'm not working in the house, I'm working work or doing something else.
Do you know the theory of a weekend is?
Unfortunately, not for a while.
Are you?
And
Well,
then I
you
get,
get
and then I get, and then
due to
and then
the
I get.
project?
I have the additional misfortune of having people who try to bring up docking or reporting me for missing shows. So
Hey,
add all the things on top of what I
listen
have to
here.
deal with.
Wait a minute.
I have to
That's a
deal with people who threaten my livelihood because I decide I may want to take a break with my wife, maybe take her to a concert on Mother's Day. But then I get these threatening messages about my conduct. So
threat
so,
messages.
so that doesn't help the situation when I have all that going on. So I'm just
Okay,
saying.
first of all, it was no threat message. It was a warning shot.
Nice try at word salad. I don't think it's going to work though. You hear this, David? So he says he's not threatening me. He says a
I
warning
hear.
shot, but it's not a threat, but it's a warning
Uh,
shot.
Yes,
I
So
see.
warning
I
shots are
see.
it's
not
like your
threats
boss.
now.
Hang on, it's like your
Warning
boss.
shots are
Listen,
not threats
Paul,
anymore. Okay,
if
Mr.
you're
Bennett,
not
Mr.
on
Bennett,
time
Mr.
for
Bennett.
favorite
He, for,
A,
I can't
he
win.
forget, Mr. Bennett. He forget we science nerds. So when they throw our words
hey,
out,
shut the.
we constantly dissect
You've
them.
reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
So when you are science nerd, you throw words out. All we do is
You've reached your
dissect the
limit on
ingredients,
talking. Shut the fuck up.
form
Let
blazing
me keep going.
swords.
I got more. Don't make me
I
mute
go.
you, David. Don't make me mute you.
Let me go Voltron.
Anyway, all right, Paul. We're talking about mecha. Like different kinds, like Robotech, from anything you think of. What's your opinion
Mhm.
about this?
I'm not an expert in this. I haven't watched a
I'm not.
lot of
He is.
robot mecha stuff growing. I mean, obviously, um, probably my first experience with any kind of mecha might have been in the '80s. Robotics
Mm-hmm.
was a toy line where you had humans basically. First of all, it was a toy line, and very similar to Transformers. They created a cartoon series out of it, and so you had these Terracores and Protecticons or something, kind of stealing, biting off of Transformers a little bit, and they had their essences thrown into these bodies, and then humans can kind of control the robot mechs and whatnot. They would kind of go to war with each other. So robotics might have been the first with that. But honestly, though, if you want to talk about robot or just mechanical tech, I'm sorry. I mean, I got to go with Iron Man. I mean, from the '60s and just all of the evolution of the Iron Man armors over the years, taken to almost infinity in terms of the number of suits and to where it was now, especially in the MCU. How you saw in Iron Man 3, all the different mech armors that he created over time. Um, so again, you have to make a distinction between: are we just talking about armor? Or are we talking about mechanized robotic machines that are
We
sort of
already.
self-sustaining, or are these always under human control and navigated by humans, or that humans have to be inside of these bodies in order to be considered a armor mech, whatever we talk about? Because
So
it's a
we already took out suits out of the equation already because it won't be a fair argument on that. We're talking about like a mechanical machine that a pilot has to um a cockpit has to be there and a pilot has to be there to
so
pilot.
why wouldn't an Iron Man armor count? Explain that.
David, you want to take that one?
When I was talking about Iron Man armor, there are a lot of armor in category that can compete with Iron Man, but are not on the level of mech. Iron Man suit is more of a suit, a body armor you put on the human body. When there are plenty of anime that have done that to a level unheard of. Now, when you compare Iron Man's suit ability to that of a mech that go beyond the natural realm of the Earth realm, meaning a lot of the Iron Man armor suit was done within the Earth realm of things. Where a lot of the
Not
mechs
all of
that
them,
have,
though. Not all of them.
not
He's
all of them,
built
but a
Iron
few.
Man suits that have fought and beat Celestials. Then you got the Hulkbuster
Okay, I
armors.
give you
That I
that.
mean, Hulk is pretty formidable in any universe. He's built suits to go against Hulk as well. So I wasn't just limited to be just the Earth realm. And obviously in the MCU, he had to go up against Thanos. So I mean, certainly his suits go well beyond. I think it certainly can compete with a lot of the mech armors that have been certainly from the anime genre. And I know it's not fair to necessarily compare genres and whatnot, but Iron Man suit tech has certainly been able to has met the challenge, or at least to compete, maybe not always win, but to compete against any forces, whether it be on Earth or alien or whatever the level is. He's always seemed to come up with
And I
something
get
that
that,
can compete on
and
that
I
level.
get that because there was a particular, and I forgot what it was, whereby any blast you give onto it, it absorbed it and give it back to you double. Like it's like to me, I thought that was a cheat. How can you have an armor suit that you can blast it to too much energy blast, or does it you powered up the power cell and you like the same blast you use against it on you time four, time five? I'm like, that's a cheat. You ask me, and I've seen anime like that, with that type of logic, and you apply that on a huge size mech. Like, come on, there was a mech that came from a mega planet destroying blast. A blast was destroying a whole entire planet. It then right in front of me absorbed the whole thing and reflected back.
Mhm.
It was pushing its limit, but it was fairly damaged. But a planet like blaster blasting you and you absorb the whole entire thing, and that's not of kinetic energy. You shoot it right back and it multiplies.
Yeah, look, I
So
mean, he's gone up against Thor. He's taken shots from Mjolnir and basically been able to absorb the energy from
and,
Mjolnir and repel it
and
back. I
I
mean,
give you
he's
that, and I give you that because this is why I say I don't want to take something from the comic book realm and go. Anime realm have already broke the fourth wall when it comes to ideas, and they have a science element behind. I was like, that would be an unfair argument. So I keep within MCU realm or DC within that realm. If I take anything from MCU or DC and apply it to the anime realm, it's kind of like it's an unfair argument because there's a huge lobby to pick and choose that will what's the term mop the floor.
mhm.
That'll be totally unfair because Japanese level ideas of going to next level is unheard of.
Well, again, I mean, but what limits are we putting on? I mean, like I said, I explained that Iron Man armor has certainly gone to realms and competed against ultra powered beings that I think would be fairly comparable in a Robotech realm. And again, it depends on the genre, it depends on the anime that you're referring to. But
Now,
certainly they, and again,
but
these worlds will never uh, um, collide. Well, it says what suits is made from, but now he's got this nanotech stuff, and so that is creating his armor now. So again, so you could argue that his suit tech now is beyond world or certainly human realm at this point. So
and based on what material they use them, because in anime they mention material that seem like you had to go to another galaxy to acquire that type of mineral, which the logic behind it is unheard of.
So
Like for
Eric's
example,
going to prove it, David.
so for perfect example, there was an anime to talk about a unique type of metal that considered had a higher density compared to any Earth-like metal. But perfect example, you want to use like on Thor hammers, right? What kind of metal was that? What kind of metal was that to build his hammer?
well, it's an uru material that's made forged from the from a sun, right?
sun. There you go. And the forgery was not even on an Earth base; it was on a galactic light base. So
Right.
imagine that same type of science is using a lot more in a lot of the anime realm of things with different type of metal capacity. So that right there let me know I'm not going to do comparison because even I tried before my younger years and I found out it won't match up. It will not. So I had to learn from experience because you talk about here you go, Voltron. You got to go to another dimension to get the material to get. See, go to another dimension. What dimension did you get into?
Mhm.
Dave, I think Paul has you backed up in a corner right now.
No, you don't have me back from the corner. He does not because I had this thing on before in my younger years, comparing MCU characters and DT characters that's on the anime, and I got shut down because if they want to pull out library. If I want to pull out library, I'm pulling out a huge amount of library to match up, just for the sake of it'll be on an equal, almost look like an equal level, but it's not.
I don't think they'll ever be on an equal level.
Anime will never be on an equal level with DC or Marvel. Anime is 5, 10 steps ahead of it.
I
No,
won't push it that far.
no. We can laugh about it. I used to be a comic book fan. Talking to someone who used to be a former comic book fan, I understand and I get it. When I got into an anime, and I got to a lot of these anime based on fundamental philosophy and science behind it, and I start to realize it's not the same. It never will be the same. Like it that one straight off the bat. It even though we want to talk about characters, superpower characters. Okay. You want to talk about Iron Man? Who can Iron Man beat on a physical level that he may have a chance with that and not going to overpower him if that were the case? I'm not going to mention Goku. Let me move Goku out of it, but that'll be a totally unfair match. I can't put Vegeta in that, and then that'll be an unfair match. What other superhero being that not using no mech whatsoever to do? That's too many. They're breaking next dimension. Let's not forget when Broly and these other people were having a fight, they went to the next dimension through their fight because they fit. Meaning, if they keep on punching, they could destroy God. What character do you know if they fight with another person that can destroy an entire universe just from punching? I'll wait.
Another universe. I won't say
No,
maybe.
what character do you know that will fight another person and they keep on locking fists? The amount of force their fist can make can destroy a whole galaxy. What character can do that?
We're not talking about Dragon Ball Z, right? That's out of the equation.
No, I take my other question because that would be a total unfair battle. But if the other character did the same exact thing,
Thor, I would say, is one of them.
Thor, nah, not that close. Yet he has the power, but who can he fight with that? If they hit fist to fist, the whole entire universe feel it across multiple planes.
Educate me.
Hmm?
Educate me.
You say it's Thor, but versus who?
That's why I'm telling you now. Educate me, please. I want to hear who you have.
I have a long list that I've been going to my head. It's kind of like, okay,
And you top
look,
two, David.
not going to say Hulk. When Hulk and Thor go punch to punch, that that's the earth shake. I get it. But if that shockwave go across multiple planets, felt, or a fixed radius? Now I'm going to geek mode because there are characters besides Dragon Ball Z character. When they punch and blow the blow, you could be 10 galaxies away. They can feel that.
Looking in the chats, and I'm gonna back this statement up.
Yeah, Hulk. Yeah, but when Hulk was fighting in one area, what other planet felt the shockwave from their fight?
Malaka, you're backed up in a corner, and you don't want to
No,
want to
no,
defeat.
I'm not backed up in a corner. I'm not. I know Hulk. I understand Hulk. If the Hulk, the Earth destroying Hulk, yet he is that powerful, and I get it. But not once ever heard Hulk ever got into a fight, and multiple planets can sense their fight because of the shockwave. Back into what war? Like, come on. Don't get me started right now. Who got the power to destroy a whole universe with their fists?
Tell me.
No, from DC.
So wait a minute. So hang on. Is the argument going to be whatever genre has beings or machines or what have you that have the capacity within that genre, irrespective of any other genre or any other universe, but because someone makes a comic or someone makes an anime where the
No,
characters can destroy whole universes with one punch,
here's the problem.
if that's the criteria that we're going to be going on in that particular universe where they've made mechs or suits or whatever it is to that degree,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no interest in engaging or having a conversation with any other universe then, or any other
And I explained that
any other
and I
property.
explained that and I explained that earlier because, like I said, based on the question of these characters, which is the Marvel or the DC one, I see where it reached to. Yes, I get it and I understand that. When I look at the anime where and there are ton of anime, there's certain characters that don't make no goddamn sense
Mhm.
whatsoever behind the philosophy behind it and based on a storyline. But when you start going and digging deeper, I say, oh, I see why it fit in that particular environment. I cannot take something from the anime. And I've seen people YouTuber do that several times. Even people on the comment section are saying back and forth. It's not possible. For example, they had a compare between Goku and Superman. Superman is from DC. Superman DC power cannot rival that of Goku power on the anime side of things, from the Dragon Ball Z anime side of things. It's not possible. Because that you being say that means Superman cannot beat what's his name again? Shazam. He cannot beat him. That means Shazam didn't really tap into his full potential because he dealing with a supernatural realm, which he got superpower and speed, but based on ancient philosophy, and Superman based on modern philosophy. The problem is he have not touched his extreme limit of how far he can go with his power. 'Cause if he was, then Superman say magic. He have a disadvantage in that. When Black Adam whoop his behind, he need who help to fight Black Adam. Like keep that will. So that's why I said I'm a fundamental kind of person. So when you take things from DCU, MCU, or DC comic realm and want to see you want to compete, and I think that is not a fair comparison. I always tell people I'm not even going to go down that round. It doesn't make no sense. 'Cause I saw that one that battle thing. Even some people were saying in the comments. Even I had to agree with people in the comments saying you're not taking the actual fact into play. So I said let's leave it alone. You cannot. You talk about a character that was dealing with being unheard of with a level of power that just doesn't make no goddamn sense. People that can just speak a word and the planet disappear, or you did disintegrate, you can never come back. I mean,
So then,
you know, you
David, so let me ask you then: if you're saying it doesn't make any sense, well, then what is where then is the where is then the affinity for the characters or the universe that these beings
and
involved
that's what I mentioned. If you want to mention Armor Suit Battlesuit, there's a category behind that. But I will not compare Armor Suit that you grow in your body compared to a mech that you actually sit in and use a different level type of sign that mixed with it. It's like I don't do that.
in? Okay,
It
well,
never
maybe
makes sense.
then maybe obviously maybe the conversation should be. I mean, I still think if you take the extremes off the table,
Hmm.
I think it's certainly fun if you want to compare Tony Stark in one of his mech uniforms versus a mid or low level um, mech from another. But if you just want to compare it mech to mech or armor to armor, like let's do that if you want to have a more fun conversation. Then
And
if you're saying it's not in
and that's why I was trying to explain to Ghost of Sparta because I know I may have his economy. If I were to put Ultraman in the mix of it to compare Ultraman and Iron Man, they almost even themselves out in a very unique way. They both have the advantage in some way, but they say who will win, who knows? You talk about who the armor person, guy with the bye-bye armor. That one is another unique son that you have not been able to grasp. This is why I avoid this type of discussion. I've done it in my 20s. I was a heavy DT guy, Marvel kind of guy. Then I deal with people in anime and they start breaking down the sign. I was like, oh, I ain't see it that way. And I thought to get it. And I've been to other discussions long before that. So when we talk about today's show, the most powerful mech, you compare him on Pacific Rim, the Jaeger. The Jaeger was the top of the pyramid on their own level of science, but it could go so much more beyond that. The problem is based on the time frame, based on where they were dealing with kaiju, we were destroying, rocking them. These kaiju were coming from another dimension, keyword dimension. And they didn't have the same advantage that the kaiju. They were just dealing with the limitation they have. Whether they were able to go out of space and fight these kaiju, like what you see in these anime are doing, that'd be a whole different ballgame.
Mm.
And I say the only person that can compete with the Pacific Rim Jaeger will be Big O, from the classic Big O animal, because they fall in the same category. They can even themselves out easily speaking. I'm looking OG anime that has that same level that with modern day ones, comic book characters. Now using modern day anime character is just it's ridiculous. He mentioned Robotech SDF-1, which is a carrier like fleet that turned out to a mech like, and there's at least 8 of them. I gotta look them up that can compete with that one too as well. There's one from Gurren Lagann, whereby the spiral energy. The guy got into a same ship like version just like that and got into the planetary version like that, as big as the planet. So imagine a mech as big as a planet. Does that make any sense? A planet-sized mech. That's totally unfair, if you ask me. Now, the only planet-sized mech that can compete with that, that'll be Primus from Transformers. You get my point now? So I took a character from an anime, Gurren Lagann, that had a planet-sized mech, and compared with another planet-sized mech will be Primus
Or you
from
can have what
Transformers.
was the guy from Transformers the movie? What was it? Omnicron, Unicron,
Omicron,
Unicron.
Unicorn. That's
Yeah.
the other planet-sized mech right there and there. So this is why I say I gotta keep it within the thing. I can't bring anything beyond that because there's so much mech I've watched mecha anime that it is crazy. And something I was like, who logical did? Who got this idea? Because anime creator was mostly manga creator. Before they can put their stuff out there, it get vetted. They
So hey,
vet it to
Xavier,
be
because this person has a lot to say. Snuggles, the link is on top of the chat. If you'd like to join this conversation, you'd be more welcome to come. The only rules are cameras on, mic has to be on.
and I
Right.
like what Snuggle knew what I'm talking about. The Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann, that was a very weird, unique anime, whereby these people were living under the earth. They're not allowed to come out of earth because some kind of being will keep them to the limitation. And they go beyond that, certain thing will wake up whereby they have to fight against it. Like there's some
Eric, have
kind
a good
of
night.
being that prevented Earth from developing beyond its limitation.
Mm.
And I've seen a lot of anime like that were doing that. Even though it's not always the same, I get the storyline, I get the plot. Like some people felt in some storyline, they were preventing Earth from destroying itself because when they get too far in their level of technology and advancement, they end up destroying their own planet. There are a few anime or cartoons that are built in the US that have that same fundamental, but it took a different path. So I thought, okay, cool. I, if I'm going to compare apple to orange, got to be within the same spec. Armor to armor, it's the same thing too. There's armors whereby it's almost biological, but it's over the human body whereby look at the twist, it comes out on a person's skin, or person can visualize a certain section of it, which is
Mm.
just crazy. The only people who did that was Iron Man with his nanotechnology. That's your correct. They inspire and get anti-power. That was that anime. And why they cannot go out of Earth because they had the ability to evolve, which is see that's one of the storyline of that particular anime. And there's other anime that have almost similar concept but not the same.
Mm. So
So
I'll ask again. Then, what is the appeal if you're talking about beings that are so, again, planet size, galaxy size, or galaxy destroying characters? What is the appeal? What about that universe that made you move away from comics to these anime that seem to take it to the nth
It
degree?
it
Is it
it
even relatable anymore?
it's the story that makes the level of consistency with the story. It wasn't like what we were said with doing the '80s. You know how some story what it wasn't out but they were pushing out story, but trying to make sense of these stories. A
Mhm.
lot of these anime stories have a level of consistency whereby it's not always perfect, but it's there. It makes sense. You can follow the pattern, you can follow the trace, you can follow the dot into something else completely different. And there's a long lot of these anime because when we did our anime show, it's either based on history, it's either based on science, and based on philosophy. So I was telling Peter, Voltron, if you're a Voltron diehard fan, there's a mixture of science, alchemy, and magic into play. And how they were able to build a line, they had to go to another dimension. I forgot that part. They had to enter another dimension to build Voltron, which is okay. What dimension is that? What invaluable that dimension had that you're not able to do it in the regular dimension? What are the factors that have that is in play that allow you to build a droid in that type of level and function, but you're not able to build in the regular dimension? You get my point?
Mhm.
So, and Power Ranger is a pure copycat of Voltron in live action version. What I was telling Vito, but I was like, you can argue that all you want, but it is what it is. Hey, Taylor Fireburn, how you doing? You can add to the conversation because you're like a legal tick, but I'm more of a nerdy guy. I like to go into the science of things. So when I want to compare mech, I gotta make sure I stay within the category. Mobile Suit Gundam, it's like a cheat. They got too many different type of Gundam for different purposes, which is kind of hard to catch up with them. Way too many of them. You got
All right.
Gundam that apply
Hey,
quantum
hang on one
physics.
second.
Go
Let's
ahead.
get Wally in here because I want to see his opinion. All right, Wally, you're up. What you got to say on this?
Well, it took you long enough to see me backstage. I'm playing.
My bad, dude. I had to walk.
I
One
know. I
second.
can figure. I can figure. No, I was about to throw that little comments just to see, like, let's see how long they won't notice. Like literally. That's all. But yeah, but I was able to eat my soup right on time before you bring me up. With that said,
You should have caught him with the spoon out.
with that said, so okay, so let me get like a quick summary. So, Mr. Bennett, you're making a case for Iron Man as far as being the best suit.
Now, not the best suit.
Okay.
The initial argument was over. David did not want to compare an Iron Man suit to anything within the mech universe. That he didn't think it was necessarily a fair comparison, given an Iron Man suit, whatever version you wanted to talk about, versus a mechanized suit from that universe, that he can't compete because these mechs are so infinitely powered that Iron Man would not have a shot in that particular universe. I was just kind of trying to have a sort of,
Okay,
kind of
what?
meet
Okay, so
in the
from that
middle.
standpoint, so what mech would Iron Man not be able to compete with?
The ones from his point of view,
No,
the
no,
ones that
I know you pointed out. That's what I'm saying. Like, so since that's the case, okay, so what mech would Iron Man not be able to compete with?
Let me see. There's nothing from the Gundam series that will be.
He doesn't
Gaia
have a
by
voice here.
no
Pause right there. Say that again.
Gundam. Can I make compete with any other Mobile Suit Gundam?
You don't believe he has a fair shot?
You don't want to
Again,
go down that
you
route?
look at Iron Man's suit and you look at Gundam. You don't think he got a fair shot?
I think he had a good
Think of
fair
it like
shot. I think
this:
Wally has a good
Iron
point.
Man's suit is like a tick flying and surfacing all around a big suit that has to catch a body. He don't got a fair shot. Bust the leg. You don't got a fair shot.
Shoot him in the groin.
Really? You had to go for the juggler on that one.
How many new type mobile suit they have bit that will chase that net?
No, David.
But
Think
again,
what he's
it's
saying.
not
A
about
little
chase.
space flying
It's about
around.
remember
actually capturing the
and
body.
Char was the first one to introduce that type of bit like system whereby you can visibly see it or it can be coded and it still has the same fundamental what Iron Man was doing, but it's very annoying as well. Remember Shaw by himself took out multiple fleets. He was a nit in a mech
Yeah,
suit,
but
taking out
here's the thing, right? This is why I said like the idea of what we're like the idea that you're saying that Iron Man could not compete is very is sort of like unrespectfully lackluster because again, let's be real, who pilots the Gundams? A actual pilot.
yeah.
Take the pilot out, then what? The Gundam is nothing but a sitting duck waiting to be destroyed.
And I
Yeah.
get
What
that.
are talking about here?
And I get that. And also there's some mobile suit Gundam that move by itself based on psychic abilities.
And
And I'm
that's
aware of
very
that.
few and none.
And I get that. And same thing with Iron Man too. If he's not in his suit, yes, he can
No.
move.
Well, here's the thing though, but Iron Man suits can still move at command. He don't have to necessarily be in there. Now, granted, is it better without him there? That's a pick and choose argument. You can go from there. Hey, I'll give it to you. But again, they can move without him though.
I get that.
And can I also ask a question? Again, you would know this more. Who are the persons who are commanding these mech
Mobile suits.
droids or mobile suits or droids or whatever? Who?
Typical human beings with no extra additives of themselves.
Okay, so you're also talking about, if you want to talk about Tony Stark, you're also talking about one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe.
Right. Okay. So from that perspective,
who has a perspective, who can certainly just through his ingenuity or just being able to think on the fly versus these other
pilots.
folks. I mean, you also have to add his mind as well as the suit that he so fashions. And again, the suits that he's fashioned oftentimes is engineered and constructed for the task at hand. So in other words, if he knows he's going to go up against one of these mechs, whatever suit tech he would have to do to be competitive against one of those mechs, he would design a suit. Now, again, maybe not a suit that can destroy galaxies. I don't think, like I said, I know he's made suits out of celestial bodies, from what I understand. But if you don't want to take it there to the extreme of the extremes, I'm saying in most of the general universe where there's still things such as physics and you're still fighting within an earthly construct or what have you, I think he would be very competitive. Not only based on the suits he's able to construct, but also the mind and his ingenuity in using the suit and the AI that he has built into his suits as well. I think there would certainly be things that he could certainly hold his own, unless you want to go to these out of world, out of dimension, extra dimensional spaces. That's that would be my only argument there.
Oh, you.
Snuggle got jokes.
Oh my god. Oh man. Oh
Well,
man.
after that comment, I hope she will think about prescribing a lease after that.
Lord have
Oh,
mercy.
that was a good one. That was a good. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
man.
Whew.
I mean, yeah. Well, Snuggles, for your previous question, as far as which suit are we talking about here? Honestly, it really doesn't matter. I think it's scalable based upon the conversation of battle. Like it's just scalable. I think because at this point you're talking about. I think you're talking about mostly anything that he's used, and then how you scale that based upon the challenge set required.
I also want to bring to her to Snuggles' attention. Again, he or she. We do have an anime show. I think you will really enjoy on Wednesday.
Snuggles is already there.
But she. Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Keep going.
No, because while y'all was talking, I was looking up armor, like this new on the armor side of things. Remember I said Ultraman? Yes, it was a suit, an inner-like suit that took over human body. That can be on compared with the
Guyver
Aquaman
too,
suit.
bro. Guyver's another one.
Guyver's another one, but the Guyver I'm mad about.
Kamen Rider.
Kamen Rider is another one, but Guyver, what I'm mad about, they stopped. I heard the manga went even further with their functionality on their suit. I was like, why didn't I come back and make a complete series of it? Not why stop halfway through? Kamen Rider, Kamen Rider, you are totally correct. There's so many Kamen Rider suits. It's like I couldn't keep track of them, and they were ridiculous.
Kamera is a whole different world slash universe, whatever you want to call it. It has goes above and beyond anything that we can ever see.
And you're totally correct about that. Totally correct.
I'm usually
And Agami no Kill, they were building armor suit from mythical beasts. And I to this day I still trying to understand how you make a suit from mythical beasts or mythical animals that have properties that if you're not careful, you stay in them too long and take over your body, which is ridiculous.
Wait a
That
minute, say that
or
again.
Agami no Kill, that's an anime whereby so many people are taking
Yeah.
armor like suits that are made from mythical beasts.
Uh-huh.
And it very, very uniquely strange because if you have the armor on for too long, the characteristic of the beast take over you and your psyche, whereby you can lose yourself and become one, which I find that crazy.
Oh, so
That's
another one that takes over a freaking body, eh? Okay.
that's your human body, meaning you're wearing it like a suit.
No, you mean the suit wearing
If
them?
you really want to take it, there's a bunch of them. Like Venom is one of them too.
Venom's another one.
I wouldn't call that a suit. I mean, well, I
No,
call
I
it a
didn't
suit,
say
but I
suit,
wouldn't
take
call
over
it.
your body. I said take over your body.
Take over your body. Yeah, but
There's one based on a horror like I forgot what the name is. Guy, what I'm gonna call it. These people are wearing the type of mythical light night armor, but at that time of how much they can wear it because they're fighting demons, right? But
Which one is this?
it, let me get the name of it. Let's see. It is, I'm trying to remember that. No, not Gaia. Because these I've watched so many anime and so many Japanese shows. It's a long list of everything I have to follow after. And I'm trying to remember the
Hey,
exact name.
you need a
Sometimes
boyfriend.
I need a what? Boy. I'm trying to think straight, and he'll mention something that got me looking like, okay, radar, like somebody crossing the line, like, hello. Give me a second. My brain going here right. Like, I'm going through my head like a madman. I'm trying to pick my name off my head. And
well,
this is
while you think about that, so let me
yeah.
throw this in here, right? Because I heard earlier, as far as like the conversation, at one point, y'all are saying that Iron Man wouldn't be considered this because of the simple fact of you're just talking about just the mech itself, not the actual suits. Of course, that made a point about like why wouldn't it not matter because of the suit itself, or just because of how the purpose of it? Because the reason why I came up on that argument a little bit was because, I mean, in fairness to part of it, to then even expounding, because I say the same thing. Like you can get the same, you get the same credence on Batman's side because when he even has suits. And let's be honest, on his,
You
you
really
think
think about
about it on a higher level, like even regardless, Iron Man, Batman, whatever one you want to think about, it don't really matter. But even if you think about it on a higher level, like if you're just talking about this, the top tier suit, like literally, I think what in another timeline, Iron Man's suit was like liquid alloyed to the point that that suit was like his top suit. It was like it literally could do so much things at a glance. So, and then if you think about it from Batman's perspective, Batman's highest suit was literally what I forgot what it was. What is they
What,
call it? It
Kevlar?
was, huh?
Like Kevlar or what?
No, not Kevlar. No. It was Dark side of the universe's tech, because he had the Hellbat tech, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was
That was for like all of the
Motherboard.
Justice League
That-
members put
that's
something into
motherboard.
the suit.
What you call it motherboard, or the device that comes from Darkseid saying that you put on any technology, it take over that technology and implement itself off that. It's like a unique level of
well, yeah,
nanotechnology.
but just that hell suit that when I'm like, okay, so I'm like, when we're saying like, oh, like these guys don't have a chance, I'm like, I think they do, because again, you got to think about it. Not all mech suits are built equally the same, respectively.
technically Batman has two. If you really want to technical,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
no, well, technically, Batman has a robotic that he actually can control and mandate without being in it, and then of course he has the actual suit that he can actually wear. So yeah, there's ways around that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's arguments to be made. Like, these guys do have a fair shot, especially since they don't have to even be in the actual suit. Right. See, Snuggles, yeah, isn't technically the same concept for Brainiac, and exactly because Brainiac can just take over.
I was going to mention the Batman Beyond suit too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about from a mechanized standpoint, yeah.
Because if you remember, he actually in a Batman Beyond series, McGinnis fought this construction bot, I think it's called, whatever it's called,
Mm,
and he actually won that fight.
yeah, it took a little bit.
I'm not saying he did it in one shot, but he was
Well,
able.
yeah.
To
I mean, and then also you got to think about it because, well, now thanks to Snuggles mentioning it, then there's also Cyborg, which is literally a cyborg. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So that's why I was sort of
And
like,
that's one thing we didn't talk about cyber suits or somebody or you throw that equation in there too.
Now, when you mentioned Cyborg, then you got to throw in Ghost in the Shell, got to throw in Appleseed, you got to throw in. There's a couple of them whereby they were also cybernetic unit, but they were built very uniquely different in a very unique way. To the point whereby along there is a network, they can leave their body psychic conscious and go to another body and control that as well. There's a lot of variable like in play. That's why sometimes I be careful to compare what. Because anime do a lot of cybernetic anime, which sometimes I try to go out like where did this conflict come from? And it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it really think ridiculous?
Well, when it comes to Japanese people, I call them psycho because they think of all kind of quaint stuff I never thought it would ever exist, that could be possible, and lo and behold,
Right. But is
it
that
makes
even,
sense
but
of it.
again, but how productive of a conversation would it be if we go again to the max or to the nth degree of galaxy destroying beings? If we're going to say 70-80% of mecha exists in a human universe, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so.
In the one time universe, yeah.
So again, if we're going to deal in that reality, then I think these comparisons are fair. To then go to these hyper extremes of infinite,
Yeah, because that's why it came up, because that was like, wait a minute, are we talking about just the mechs versus the mechs, or are we talking about the mechs versus everything else?
Thank you. Gyro. That was the armor I was looking for. The gyro armor. These armor was literally supposed to be, I don't know, demonic armor. I don't know what it is, but you can't wear these armor too long because if you wear them too long, they possess you. And you have to go to
Mm.
unique training to be able to use, and you have to go to unique training to get used to them because not anyone can wear the gyro armors. And they give you supernatural strength and ability, which is unheard of. So imagine such an armor whereby you're going to the fourth wall, you're going to another dimension, so to speak. Kind of play with it.
Mm.
And then what was the other armor I was thinking about? That was in DC. That's actually higher. Um, the Blue Beetle suit. Yeah, that's another one I was thinking about.
That's another good one too.
Blue Beetle was nothing but alien technology that one was hard to understand because no one on Earth could understand the technology, and there was different versions and different variation behind it. The one was given to the Martian, one was given to a human, one was given to another person from another alien race, and each one that utilized it, its feature doesn't match the next one. It's something that doesn't add up. There had to be a variable that played behind that,
He's talking a
and I
variable as
find that
far
strange.
as wait,
For
what
example,
variable?
the blue beetle armor seemed to be the ultimate unit compared to the green one and the black one. And I remember that particular anime whereby that black one have a new strength, it can take over another beetle armor. But a blue beetle you can't because there's something about that particular armor that make it completely unique. all the other alien armor that came out from that same source.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to understand the value behind it. So there had to be, like I say, everything comes down to the
Well,
science.
let's be honest,
Why is
right?
that?
Well, okay, let's go from that science because I'll sit here and say, okay, thanks for that piece of information. So you're saying that out of all the beetle suits, the blue beetle suit cannot be overtaken, it cannot be overshadowed, nothing. Well, that just tells you where it is on the pecking order, which is why movie, TV show, it was the most hunted suit. Highs on the pecking order.
Pretty much. They gotta have it for some apparent reason, and why I don't know. I wish I had the comic book to read through because even I knew about how many times that blue beetle suit had to go into hiding many times over. Like, dude, like seriously, what's so special about it?
Apparently, just look at the movies and the TV show, and it tells you everything.
Like the latest Ultraman suit that came on Netflix. Some of these Ultraman suits have an armament attachment they can add on to, which I found it very strange. That was the one that they did on Netflix, whereby there were like 5 to 6 Ultraman suits. So hold up, which one is the original? Which one is bootleg? Or which one is to add on to? One in particularly, whereby it did with a person in your nature, he has fire energy to control his body chemistry from blowing up. So I can't say it's a suit alone, but sometimes it act like a suit, sometimes it act like a mech. It's invariably.
So, yeah.
Not the most recent Ultraman series that's on Netflix. And I was watching it and I was like, okay, something different from this one. I thought it was only one Ultraman. There was end up like 5 or 6 of them,
All right, so wait a minute, real
different
quick. I
variations.
just want to ask this, right? So let's say hypothetically we took the robotic cyber suits off the table for a moment, right?
Mhm.
And you just said, okay, just mech. What was the only other mechs that y'all were really comparing?
You have to ask him. I'm not.
I know
I'm not,
that's
I don't
I
follow
know,
mech,
I
so
know,
you would
I
have
know,
to.
I know.
Go ahead, David.
Peter, come on. No, you were trying to give me the battle toad. Offer your choice.
My original topic was everything, but Dave was pushing back.
When you say everything, it seems to be lopsided because when you go and mention everything, that means I gotta pick whatever you have. I'm like, and it seems fair to be because I had to look at what the classes of because in anime there's always the classes in place. You can compare something from one class to another class. It have to be within the same class. So either you're dealing with a regular suit, body armor, you want to call it, either you call it body armor suit, that's one category. The mech is more like something that you can fit into the cockpit or thing, do something much bigger than that. There are multiple classes of them in that area too as well. Let's not forget, a lot of anime we watch, they said there's a class to each suit they built their anime based on armor on. They stick with a particular class. So that's why I asked that question, who are you comparing who to who?
I think
Yeah,
I've
this.
been
I
I,
definitely think you need to keep the combo within the universe that you're talking about. So if you want to do something, even if you went cross, like Iron Man versus Cyborg for his not Cyborg, who's the guy from DC? The Cyborg, right?
Cyborg.
yeah.
Yeah, if you want to do that, yeah, I think that's a fair I think that's a fair
Fair assessment.
comparison. Yeah, but yeah, I certainly trying to cross genres, especially when these genres can be so you know even just the laws of physics are different in these universes. Sometimes it
I
may be
mean, they are, but honestly, when you really look at the base root, I still would argue is like all you're really doing because like okay, let's put it like this, right? We compare the idea of Punisher versus John Wick, right?
correct. Yeah,
And guess what? We challenge you guys challenge that Punisher is out here facing these beings. Is like, well, doesn't that over trumps what John Wick can do? And I said, well, wait a minute now. If we look at the skill sets of what these both men can do, if Punisher can deal with these beings, then so can John Wick. That's just the bare minimum. So that's why I said, like, when you're talking about Iron Man being able to handle this stuff with all the other mechs, is like, well, why couldn't he? And I'm like, yeah, you got a point, because it's like, again, you're talking about someone that actually has a power move. These mechs don't really have a power move. They have gadgets that can actually be destroyed. I'm like,
Right.
take away the gadgets and take away body parts, then what?
Yeah.
It's just a sitting duck waiting to be.
Right. And like I said, especially once you start putting in intelligence, when you're talking about, what would you say Tony Stark is in just in the Marvel MCU?
Mhm.
Is he like in the
Oh, big
top
duck.
5? You put him,
Yeah.
Banner, Reed Richards, who else would you put up there? Humans now. I'm not talking about extra.
Doom. Dr.
Who's
Doom.
that?
Dr. Doom.
Um,
As far as brains,
yeah.
I think, yeah, Dr. Doom. I mean, I'm gonna have to check, but Dr. Doom is more likely up there.
Now I know Forge, for example, from X-Men. I know he's a mutant.
Yeah,
So he has an
he's a
ability to
mechanical
create
worker, yeah,
mechanical
so,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
so he might. I don't necessarily want to. I'm
Well,
talking about just your average.
yeah, if we're talking about overall minds, then I guess that's different, because that's overall minds. But we're talking about minds within scientifics, then I would put Dr. Doom up there eventually. Yeah, I would put him up there, give or take.
Well, guys, we're at the top of an hour. Let's get our final thoughts. David, you go first. President, you're second. Wally, you're last, and I'll close it out.
This is a very unique argument, unique debate, which I do enjoy. But I think next time when we go into this, we need to put a level of class into it, because I'm not saying there's no way we can compare anything from anime to DC or Marvel, but that'd be a class set to each one we're referring to, because while you say mobile Gundam, let's not forget that a lot of other mobile Gundam that have certain technology, they can detect such a children about to happen, and they got a unique ability that can prevent that from it. Even though you're referring to the old version mech, new version mech, there's no way you can intercept it. And we have unique technology, like either you can short circuit or take over your technology and hijack your technology. That's also possible. So this is why I always say it's good to have a class. Just like you have UFC, we got the lightweight, you got middleweight, you got featherweight, and you got heavyweight. Same thing with anime. Let's stick with the class and try to do the comparison from there. Because when you look at the armor suit, yeah, there are armor suit in the mobile government city area that they can utilize that type of functionality as well, which is not too hard to fathom that. But me watching so many of them, it's a very different thing. I think going forward, we should have a set class. Either you talking about bodysuit armor, you say mobile suit, you talking about Star Cruiser like, you talking about battleship. There should be a category set based on the argument from there. We get our point on that. Other than that, this is a very unique topic that I've seen, I've been a part of many times, multiple years, and it's never easy to get into, but it's very interesting to peak your mind, see what angle you're looking at. Other than that, I enjoy the show. I enjoy the topic. We to come back this time we get our debate properly done. On that note, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not as well versed certainly in the mecha, but I certainly think the Iron Man versus the mecha world, I think certainly is interesting if you set proper parameters around it. But certainly it is a no question it's a genre that I guess maybe at this point, again, because I haven't seen enough, I would like to see. Maybe I need to read or see more to see what kind of diversity. Because I think ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the human being that's involved that I think really makes the difference in what makes these characters interesting. Not necessarily the tech or the robots themselves, but it's the characters that are driving them, and the ideas and the ingenuity that they create when it comes down to, especially when it comes to critical decision making. At the end of the day, it's still a human function, and I haven't seen any kind of AI or robotic that can certainly can match that. And that seems to be the edge when it comes to a lot of these series and genres and whatnot. That at the end of the day, it's the humans that make the difference. So even not even so much the smartest, but who has the most ingenuity that ultimately wins out. So good topic though.
Ladies and gentlemen, I come here with a simple reason. Look, I believe in fair warfare. and I will stand on that through and through. Ergo, this is why I came up to make my point about the ideal standings of where we argue these things. Because regardless if it's different universes or not, there will be a sentiment of where there is balance in these arguments. Now, my anime counterpart, he would say that there's a level of Gundam tech that are far superior than none, and I say to myself, and again, you got a point, but they're only far and none. Ergo, if I would make the argument, how much Gundam suits can Iron Man go through? How much Gundam suits that Batman can go through with their top of the line suit and just smash through until they meet the top of the crop? Because there's only so much Gundam suits that are the top of the crop. And when you realize that the rest are just that, nothing but mere robots made from the same tinker tankles of just gear. Now, granted, yes, Gundam is from a different universe where the gear is, different and unusual. But at the end of the day, when you compare and contrast the weaponries of these Gundams, how far it is to cut it down and everything else, even if it's AI or not, you realize this is just a basic baseline that there's the same standard of things that you just knock down like it ain't nothing else. And until that point, until someone's able to prove that across the board that that particular metal is not in equal proximity, it is all fair game. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice day.
And that's why he's my co-host, because this is why we go crazy.
Wally, you need to patent that laugh. You need to make a laugh and then have that as your. Yeah, that laugh needs to be patented. Man.
Oh, man.
It's like what's my man from Predator, Sonny Landham from Predator. I mean, he had that deep laugh, something like that. I used to have that sound effect.
Oh, man.
I should record that and make that his sound effect.
You should.
Let's do a quick before we do a quick sketch update. I want to do a part 2. I got to do better ground rules. That's partially my fault. I was a little overtired from work, so I do apologize for that. But our schedule this week. Unfortunately, we may not have a gray area. I couldn't find a replacement host because somebody needs to go to a concert on my show day. Don't make me push the button. I will push the button. Let me finish.
On Mother's Day. On Mother's Day. So
you could do Mother's Day another day for her.
You see.
Hold on.
This, ladies and gentlemen.
Hold on. Let me speak. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are married and your wife is a mother, if you tell her,
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
arm, blade, and middle finger. Anyway,
Fucking asshole. This is fucking like come on, shit.
we live in the United States of America. What woman will listen to such an excuse on Mother's Day? Oh, let's do this another day. And tell me you're not going to get kicked out to the front porch.
I say the same thing about Father's Day.
Anyway.
Now, see, that being said, just to be a team player, I am willing. Because Father's Day, let's face it, after you get the cheap cologne and the necktie and whatnot, there's really not much going on. So I'm willing to work on Father's Day to the fall on the Sunday. So I'm not tripping about Father's Day. I'll take one for the team. I'll take one for the team. I'll take one for the team on Father's Day.
Now that's a topic we need to talk
I
about.
take your shit.
And mind you,
have my day.
I spent several Father's Days at my daughter's plural dance recitals because for some strange reason the director of the dance studio thought, hey, wouldn't it be so great on Father's Day to have these recitals so their daddies can see their daughters. For 4 hours I'm at a dance recital for 2 routines. because my daughters each would had, usually I would have 2 at a time. It'd be one dance routine they in, but I got to sit through the entire 4-hour recital. So I did that for years.
New
So
topic
certainly
for
I'd be more than willing to somehow exit that in order to be on the gray area or any other show that you guys are doing.
You know,
So
with that understanding,
so new topic. Why is Mother Day more important than Father Day? That should be a conversation you should be having up in here.
Well, I wrote it down already. It's gonna be on a future episode. Don't worry.
yeah, that's a great.
The war on gender.
Let me do a quick schedule update because we're free all night with these guys. So, like I was saying, I am still trying to get a replacement. I haven't heard back yet, so hopefully, but for right now, it's canceled. Hopefully not.
What was the topic tomorrow anyway? What were we talking about?
I was trying to get. I can't remember where it was actually. I was actually trying to get JT to jump in your place. You talk about his military service, but I haven't heard back from BMU yet.
Got it.
So I think it's gonna be a hard no because I know he just got remarried with his ex-wife or something like that.
Yeah, that's a story in and of itself. So there's hope. There's hope for you divorcees. That door may still be open. So
yeah,
he may get some hope to those folks.
On Wednesday, these twin knuckleheads will be talking about Dragon Ball Daima.
These what together?
Twin knuckleheads, I said. Are you guys still doing Daima or are you doing a different subject? Because I have the whole list. I was going to upload it on Monday.
We are doing Daima.
Okay.
We are doing Daima, and we're going with no gloves on. How about that?
Pause.
That's a pause. I'm keeping gloves on.
Yeah.
I'll slap someone later.
On Thursday, we're going to be talking about the battle with yourself. Overcome personal struggles and growth. Yeah, Dave, we're doing that.
I expect to hear some good things on that end.
Will we touching personal demons now?
Yes, we're going to do that, David. And you're going to open up. And next week, yes, I am going to go here because I want to piss off David once again. Avengers versus Justice League. Look at it.
All right.
I think that'll be more of a fair conversation.
Well,
really?
And one day I expect you in that one on the food show, by the way.
Avenger versus Justice League.
I've been wanting to do this for a while, actually.
Oh gosh. Oh boy.
All right.
I wonder who we got pissed off with this one.
the ones that say you're not throwing a fair fight. Because there ain't a fair fight.
Everybody, he's gonna be bitching about this one.
There ain't gonna be no fair fight.
So, David, and last words.
Last word for the Avenger versus Justice League. Please don't get too emotional. It's not our fault. Blame the editor in chief. Okay.
You can't blame me because it's probably gonna be. You know what? Every time we have this subject, like you guys moan about it, it usually becomes one of our best shows. So you know.
Yeah, with a lot of fireworks.
Oh well. And Mr. President, last words before you crucify yourself.
See this. This should go into the HR report. This is harassment. This is what do you call it? This is microaggression. This is everything that all those HR videos that I've had to sit through every year. He's checking all the boxes.
Time out.
There's this sliding that's going on.
Do you really want to speak to HR right now?
Who's HR? You?
They're in the other room. Hang on, I'll be back.
Wait, who's the HR? Like
His mom. But the problem is, she always trying to hit him in the head with a phone.
Oh no, he don't want to talk to his mom. You don't want to talk to his mom because he's gonna get it. He's gonna get another iPhone thrown at him. It's like, what? He's trying to take his wife out for Mother's Day, and you say show. Pop. You're gonna get popped, and he knows.
But your wife probably, right?
And he knows it. No, I'm saying your mom. If you explain to your mom the situation, and he's like, I can't believe this guy. He wants to actually take his wife out on Mother's Day.
Only question I got. Joking aside, you know I'm just messing with you, brother.
Of course, of course.
What country you guys gonna see if you don't mind me asking?
The Whispers, one of my wife's favorites. This is old school. Yeah, this is 70s, 80s
I've
R&B
never heard of them.
band and whatnot.
Oh,
And so
You know, it's funny
again,
you said this right now because the other night I was watching a YouTube video. Yes, I watch YouTube, you guys, believe it or not. And I realized the Backstreet Boys are back in tour right now. So it's one
yeah, all
band.
these.
I was a big fan of Backstreet Boys growing up, and I'm still like.
I'm just asking a question. What happened to the musical group? I'm a bit verklempt over that.
Actually, I'm going to be
Ego.
planning a show very soon about music and all that stuff.
But I'm saying, but what happened to the groups? I mean, the harmonic, the
bands?
harmonic
Egos.
assembly of the quartet or the multiple, you know.
Ego.
I think really fast before we get
Who
to
was that?
it.
I said ego.
You
They were saying money.
That was one, but the boy band thing kind of died off in the early 2000s and never came back.
Yeah, that's so because I mean when you have voices and harmony going together, there's nothing like it. I mean,
I agree with you, but I was gonna say the only place the Backstreets are actually touring, if you want to even call that, is in Vegas. That's it.
yeah,
Imagine the ticket, the airline ticket, the hotel. I was talking to my boss about it. He goes, dude, the tickets down there are ridiculous. I mean, not tickets. The hotels are ridiculous expensive.
not in Vegas. You can get a room in Vegas for $50.
I never been there, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, Vegas is pretty cheap. I mean, you can go all the way up. You know, you want to stay at the Wynn, you can spend ridiculous money. But I'm just saying, if you go into Vegas just for a show or an event, get and you don't plan to be in your hotel room for extended periods of time, get something maybe just off the strip, the Luxor, the Mandalay Bay, or whatever. Cheap rooms are plentiful there,
like a Motel 6 kind of thing.
What's that?
Like a Motel 6 or Motel 8. Whatever.
No, not even that. I'm saying even those, like the Luxor, Mandalay Bay. Some of the on the low end, definitely easily under $100. You can get, especially if you don't go during peak, peak season time. Stay there and then get, there's plenty of trends to get up and down the strip, or go to your shows or whatnot and hang out. Like I said, unless you want amenities, you want the nice plush pools and the luxury rooms and all that. I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, so stay. You don't want to be in a dump, but you don't have to spend, premium dollar, like I said, at the Wind or at the.
To be honest with you, Paul,
yeah.
right now, the next couple months, there are events coming up for us. So my money is going to be invested into our events.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody needs, so anybody in the New York area, myself, Paul, and little Groot over here, aka Baby Groot from Eric.
Bear Paul.
Whatever. We will be at New York Fleet Week at this moment. Nothing will change. If something changes, I'll like yes or be. If not, if anybody wants to meet up with us, let us know. We will be at New York Fleet Week. The good thing about it is free to get in. The bad part is it's no bad part right now. We're going to try to interview as many military guys we can. Soldiers, Marines, Navy. They're mostly Marines and Navy guys. And that's a good thing. We have no Navy guys on the show yet. So that'll be our first Navy guy. So go back to the archives, see how many we interview a few people from the military. It's a great opportunity to check those out. Wally, anything you guys say before I close it out?
Well, the possibilities of me may or may not be able to make it on Thursdays. I will say this now just in case. Just in case, either way, send the links though. The battle with yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, it's all about improvements.
Yeah.
Do not deny the challenge within yourself.
So the question to this, I'm not sure if we're going to be going to that ship, but I'm not sure which ships are coming. The last time I went there to Fleet Week was a battle cruiser from the Navy. It was a smaller, I think it was a Class C battle one, and it was a Coast Guard one. There's another thing, Paul. We can probably interview some Coast Guard guys too. We haven't had any of those guys on either.
Mm-hmm.
So they were really friendly. They were all talking, and that's what they're for. And depending, going to this ship, I'm not sure about that yet. So that's a conversation I need to have with my guys later. So that's where we're at on that part. There's some other events I cannot say yet. I actually have the tickets in my hand, and once I will announce it, but I will announce right now, and it's already been announced. The 20 was it 22nd? Paul, is it your show starts?
22nd Thursday. Yes.
22nd. We will be flipping a couple of episodes days around on the 20. I'm sorry, let me get my calendar up. On the 20th, the Spartan Arena will be moving to Tuesday, and on the 22nd, Paul and Coach Ferg will be taking over that day. So Wally has no excuse not to make it on Thursdays anymore. I'm
Oh, you mean
busting.
to make it to that show? Okay. Well,
You don't have to. I'm just busting. That is the only all announcements. We have 2 more shows in the works. Iron some details. They will be coming up soon to announce them personally themselves. So they're working on it. Except that, as always, it was Spartan SQ Network, one of the best shows on YouTube. And going to be the greatest show you ever watch. Except that, stay fresh, stay safe. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bell